got 5 coins here that are still looking quite good, technical wise, for a potential move up. Let's find out what they are. So hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new, subscribe, hit the bell button, leave a like and a comment now. Thank you so much. 50,102 now, which is amazing. So if you don't know this, I'm pretty sure I said on the 1st of January 2021 I wanted 10,000. I blasted through it. So the new goal is 100,000 by the end of the year. We'll see. We'll see, right? I appreciate that you enjoy my content. However, I do want to say one thing first. Please, I am not going to direct message you. Anything in the comments that you see for you going to a WhatsApp number is a scam. Make that very, very clear. So I will not give you a place for you to put your money. Do not give your crypto to anyone else. I don't need it. Simple, all right? Moving on. So, got an extra subscriber. Hi there. Anyways, we're going to talk today, technical stuff, 5 altcoins that are undervalued technically. I know some people are going to go, no, it's not. That's an all-time high. But we'll look at the BTC chart in terms of how undervalued they are in line with what could happen, right? And one of them I've talked about a lot. And if you listen to it over a few weeks, months, I've been talking about it, it's been undervalued. So you probably know which one I'm talking about. It starts with L, it ends with K, and it's a very, very common item in your house. Anyways, moving on. So let's talk about it. This is coming down, happy days, right? That would indicate that most altcoins are still more dominant than Bitcoin, which is good, right? Things are moving. Ethereum's doing well. XRP's had a nice little move. Cardano's had a recent move recently. So we're going to talk about stuff that, yeah, they're quite well known. Yeah, they haven't really popped yet. They've pulled back a little bit because they're still, in my opinion, undervalued. So let's talk about them. So hello. First one we'll go on to is the obvious one, right? It's the one that I've already just hinted at. Chainlink, right? We've got to look at this still. We're still here. Yes, it's all-time high. I know. But at the end of the day, there's still a bit of ground to make up here. Okay, let's talk about it. So if we're going to keep it simple, let's do an old Fibonacci. We're only here. Here. This is where the 382 is, and this is where the 618 level is. I personally feel we're going to go a little bit higher than what this is going to give us, right? I think we're going to go higher. For some reason, in my head, I think Chainlink is undervalued. Yeah, I know. Crazy. And it's only $41. So the reason why I come to this analysis, it was all-time high here at $20, right? This was when Bitcoin was about $10,000. Bitcoin's done a 5x since. It's actually done more than 5x technically. When you look at that and the fact it's dropped so much, it would indicate there's still more in the tank to give, I believe. So if we're going to go for a very, very simple line of analysis here, and let's just say we go up to the 618 levels, in and around where this region is, or just below it, let's say, that could be an 80% move in capital appreciation in BTC. If Bitcoin stays stable, as I always allude to, cool, that would indicate it's probably going to rise. You've got to go up together at the same time. If Bitcoin tanks and this carries on going up, even better, because he's going to get better value. But just be careful, right? Nothing goes up forever, but at the same time, this is a better opportunity than buying something, for example, up here, which I'm going to say it. VeChain is not the sort of thing to buy right now. Theta, not the thing to buy right now. There's a lot of coins that are looking incredibly pumpish right now. You want to leave them alone and you want to look for stuff like this, technically, because these have still probably not pumped properly yet, in my opinion. Moving on to the next one, and one of my favourite holds, technically, is Zilliqa. Yes, it looks, there's all charting on there, hello. We'll look at the other chart in a minute, but this is a blank chart. It's in a nice uptrend. It's been pulling back nicely. I still think this has got a lot more room to grow. And the reason why I say this is because if I go over to my actual baggage, here we go. So this is what we've got, right? We've had a nice little push to the upside. So if we're going to look at this, nice push to the upside. We're currently at resistance levels here. We could go a little bit lower, don't get me wrong. But at the same time though, when you actually zoom out on this, just to give you a food for thought, this is still undervalued, in my opinion. Nice little uptrend. I think it's going to pull back and it's going to shoot off again, in my opinion. We have got, as well, fundamentals in line with this. We've got the Ethereum bridge, which is going to increase token usage. And that's what it looks like when you zoom out, right? Still, in my opinion, undervalued, I feel, right? That's my opinion. Maybe biased because I hold it, but at the same time, we're not looking at the tops. As I said before, just going back a second, go to like VeChain. you know, these are the sort of things you want to wait for the correction. You know, I may well talk about this in another few videos when it does pull back, but we've got to remember this, like, do not buy these coins, right? Yes, great, well done, congratulations, you've made a lot of money. Take profit, don't just keep buying it. Anyways, moving on to the next one. Obviously, I mentioned Zilliqa just then. Again, it's looking fine, right? It's undervalued, in my opinion, it's undervalued. Yes, it looks unbelievable. It's near all-time highs. I know people are going to go, what? It's all... You got to look at the BTC confluence as well. The BTC influence on the USD chart will always inflate a coin's USD price. You need to look elsewhere. I know other YouTubers do not talk about this, but make sure you look at that chart too. It's important. It shows you where there's some value at least. Next one, very, very close to it, is Tezos. I know it's still down here. I don't know much about Tezos, right? I've kind of looked at it. I understand the dynamic of it, the bakers and whatnot. But I just think that a coin of this usage and location and partnerships and who's involved, I feel it's undervalued. So if you look at the weekly time frame, that's like crazy. So this one could be the one with the most amount to give. In my opinion, if we're going to go and look at analysis of this on the day, well, look at the 3-day actually, because it can kind of get a bit more in. So if we're going to look at this, let's try and get, it's crazy when you think about it. There we go. Happy days. So we've had this nice little impulse. We'll just go from this bottom here to this area. This is, I think this is the order point of where we should be looking at buying, or in and around at least this, you know, oopsie. Where is it? That always annoys me when that happens. At least that area, right? At least. But for me, when you think about it, this could go a lot higher, because it's still, I just think it's crazy undervalued. It just kept dumping. And it looks high because it's currently market level $6.45. But when you consider that, that is absolutely crazy. So if we're going to look at that as a potential low swing, but what about the high swing? If we can go from this top to this bottom, that's a 382 level there, 618 levels here, right? That's crazy alone, right? If we're going to look at this level, that could do 153% in the BTC pair. That's crazy. That could like literally double in a bit. Could be looking at like a $15 plus Tezos at some point in the future if this gradually trickles up. And as I say, the more sats it is, the more USD is going to be worth. That's kind of a simple analogy. So Tezos looks absolutely, that's savage, and it's kind of making me think, well, if that is a support level, and it is, and that's the high, that could be a real good one to look at as a potential opportunity for a investment, or maybe even something as simple as just a trading flip. Not financial advice, of course, remember that. Anyways, moving on to the next one is AAVE. AAVE has done a really big pump and it's pulled back into a nice area. Look left, you see all this kind of juicy kind of support, and it's been found, right? So if we're looking at the 3-day chart, keep it super simple. From this level here, that is what we've got. 618 levels. This could fall lower though. Just be careful. It depends on what this candle closure, if it is above this point. But it's, you know, starting to get above the EMA, starting to get above certain ranges. We may well see this get a bit more interesting and spicy, which is kind of good. That level of an EMA is always important, the 21, which is what I use. So if this does close above this 618 and above those, that looks pretty good. Starting to show signs of life essentially. But that is just a BTC pair. If you're looking at the USD pair again, it's looking okay, to be fair. It's still, the thing that's looking okay is the fact of this body closure. Maybe wait till tomorrow and see what it looks like. But if this has actually closed above this range, it might be looking pretty good. Yes, it will probably retrace at some point. But if we're going to go from this point here and pull back, we've had a very, very nice trade opportunity missed. Okay, this has been the missed opportunity. However, as I say, it's starting to form a trend. This will pull back and it will form another higher low. Therefore, that's where your entry is, okay? So it could well be retracing back up and we may well see some nice sign of life. So the next step of this one as analysis will be quite simple. We're going to go from this low and we're going to wait for the body closure to happen at some point. Whenever this body closure happens, you may well find it retrace to a certain nice point and that will be your entry, and it may well swing higher from that point. So it could be a very, very nice little gain. But I do think it's undervalued. When you look at that level there, in my opinion, AAVE, obviously DeFi, Ethereum upgrades, all kinds of good stuff, that is a 100% move from that, especially from that top. Crazy when you think about it. So could well be some nice little gains there essentially. So the last one want to talk about, and I've mentioned it before, is graph. Now, why graph, you're probably wondering. Well, in my opinion, it's retraced nicely, and I still think it's somewhat undervalued for what it is. There's going to be more and more interest, so obviously it's pulled up. I feel that we're going to be starting from this point here now, but overall we've had a nice little retracement, and we're still quite low in my opinion. This is a USD chart, by the way. If we're looking at this, and let's just say from that point to that point there, in my opinion, we're going to probably pull back at some point. But if we're looking at certain things as well, we could look at that. That is a perfect little resistance tap from that point, 618 level up to that point. So just wait and see what happens in terms of this over the next few days. But when we look at the BTC pair, this is what we're going to look at. This has been a monumental pullback, and it's found a real nice level of support. So again, 618 levels, boom. I think this is going to retrace back up, at least up to here, maybe even retrace this top point, but still very much, in my opinion, undervalued, underdeveloped. A lot of fundamentals could push it higher, and that looks quite good overall. If we're looking at a potential gain on this point, from this point up to this level alone, 25% easily, in my opinion, that's probably what's going to possibly happen if this dominance keeps dropping, if more and more interest in the altcoins happen, potentially up to 90% there. But this is all rough workings, this is all kind of opportunities. This is not looking for the obvious in terms of, oh, look at VeChain, he's gone to the moon. You know, even stuff like IOTA has been going absolutely crazy, even though, right, IOTA is majorly undervalued from the past. It's done a monstrous move already back up to this point. So you just want to be careful with certain things as well. But these haven't really popped in the BTC pair as much, which is kind of making it a bit more obvious to look at. So there you go. Hope you enjoy. Thank you if you are a subscriber, and make sure you tell your friends as well. And yeah, I'll see you again very, very soon.